And we should be live, Lily. Hello, welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. Today is the 12th of December, 2023, and I'm going to mute the Cafe, the Plaza, because I just realized that it is going to be putting the sounds of San Francisco right through my ears if I stay open with that in my sound in my ears, and that's going to be hard for me to keep track of. There we go. That'll be a lot easier. Welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. It is another Tuesday here in the Upland Plaza. We had a number of things going on today. A, B, C in the news. First and foremost, obviously, Miami is releasing tomorrow for the collection reveal. We've been waiting on Miami for a week in vanilla mode. People have done the collection speculation. People have gotten ready for the release. People have already started speculating and purchasing on the secondary. And I've got an expert with me today, expert in the idea of collection speculation, somebody who's done quite a bit of good picks, has had a decent amount of time invested in research. And I'll be talking about Banana. With Banana about the Miami reveal in a little bit. Of course, today we also had the totem sale. Obviously, we have had various results, but all of them seem to be that totems sell well. At least the passes sell relatively quickly in both the USD and the UPX side. And we'll get into today's results or how things went today. And of course, the big news, or I would say the bigger news even than that the Miami collection reveal tomorrow is out of the blue, without teasing, without explanation, but very much in accord with what the team, many would argue the team should have done a very long time ago, was Ornaments. Ornaments are now year-round. We'll get into the announcement. We'll get into what this means, and we'll get into some things along the way that Upland is doing to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit when it comes to how you interact with ornaments and what you can do with them. Before we get things started, before we get kicked off, always with the disclosure up front. All views and opinions expressed by myself, they are mine and mine alone. Should be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the team or the game of Upland. Any guests who we do have on that are afforded the same courtesy, no financial advice, no game strategy advice. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. And of course, I don't represent myself, the Goldsmith, or the Cafe Nightly Show. Questions and comments throughout the show. If you are different places, if you are in the Plaza, I'll try to keep my eyes out for comments there. If you are in Discord, I won't be keeping my eyes out there, but I will be keeping my eyes out likely here on the stream here or on the comments on the stream on the YouTube side of things. So try to keep track of everything as we can, but not acknowledging that the place I'm going to see likely the most is going to be in the Plaza if people are making comments there. But to get things started, if you have questions, if you have comments in the Plaza, I would love them to be asked of the guest here as we do bring him on. I will start with Banana so we can get him out of the way or help him. You have a chance to let us know what's happening tomorrow before we get there. And then talk about everything else that's going on today. I see Banana laughing here, so I hope he can hear me. And we'll get him in here laughing.
Hello.
You listen to the audio, you're like, what's he talking about?
How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Banana?
I've been existing for the past 19 years. So yeah, I can't say too bad.
Well, there you go. You're still alive. I mean, that's something. It's been a week since Miami opened, and you have a bank account still?
Kind of, maybe.
How about this? Here's a better question. Do you have an UPX account?
Not really.
No.
Both have been drained for the past week for many different reasons. But I have enough for tomorrow to pick up secondary.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be drained tomorrow. I can tell you that.
After the collection reveal, after a little bit of secondary action.
Oh, absolutely. I got about 100k UPX, so not much, but enough to play around with.
Yeah, I'm assuming you didn't get too busy and pick up a bunch of totems today. Save it for Miami.
1100th in line, guys.
Oh yeah, on the UPX side.
On both sides.
Oh well, I was 1800th on USD side. I just barely got a USD. First ever, and I'll talk about this revelation here. First ever UPX purchase of a totem pass.
That's great. Look at you go.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. I just other people like I've gotten 6 over the course of the whole process. I've
It
gotten
feels like cars all over again. It's like, oh
like
yeah, I
cars
got first in line in cars for the 5th time,
For-
guys. Look at me go. I'm like, I haven't bought a car.
I've been at the end of the line every single time. Yeah, but that is definitely the course on those. But the one thing that we don't have that same line up at the end of the line situation with, we've got a little more choose your direction, choose your float, choose where you want to purchase and where you want to speculate. Is these collection reveals? Obviously, there's been secondary action for the week. People have made mistakes in what they've overspent on. I'm sure people have bought areas that aren't going to hit collection, and of course, some people have been selling things far below what theoretically they're going to be worth in 2 days. So, I mean, with that, what have you seen, or have you put a good eye out on the neighborhoods that you have speculation on? Have you put an eye out on what's going on in the sales overall and seeing what areas have had their floors shoot through the roof, and what areas do you think are undervalued?
So when we're looking at the collection speculation for Miami, a lot of us, like not just me, also Analytic Assassins, shout out to them, another research group. We look at the blockchain to kind of get an idea of how many collections we're going to get. And like we have no idea what to really expect because Upland made the announcement, like a little asterisk baby, be like, hey, not all the things on a chain will correlate to this wave. And we are having trouble reading as to what that means. So we could have 8 collections, we could have 2, we could have 5, we could have 1. So it can be very interesting what to see tomorrow, and we really don't know what to expect. So I really have I have a lot of speculations of what it could be because there's a lot of good areas in this wave, but a lot of us are thrown off in research because they cut up Miami by what you'd see, I guess, would be the best way to call it, like real estate districts, not like colloquial districts. Like for example, everything from Vizcaya to like South Grove is usually considered Coconut Grove. But it's been cut up into like many different groves, so that's really funny to look at because that allows us to speculate. All right, so what part of the grove do we think that Upland's going to go for? And so the two that at least I looked at the most were Grove Center, which is like the downtown of Coconut Grove. You have your high rises, you have your city hall for Miami, and like really nice, really nice gentrification, I call it. So it's also a small, rare neighborhood. One of the reasons why I think they might go for it because I think the reason they kind of went with this idea is because a lot of the neighborhoods in Miami were very big, so no rare neighborhoods. So I feel like there's got to be at least one rare neighborhood they wanted to work with. Another one to look at is South Grove Bayside. Lots of McMansions, lots of money, right on the water. It's also very expensive, and it gives me a lot of Bel Air vibes in a way, especially with the road layout, where it's like these nice little driveways that don't lead to each other. Very cute area. Also, not a lot of street views because it's very private. If we move up north from there, so like outside of the Grove areas, we can look at Brickell. Brickell's been a big area for talk because Brickell is usually one neighborhood, not 5. So when we really look at look at all that cut up, delicious cut up neighborhood. It's like a pie, except like someone who cut the pie incorrectly.
I mean, I eventually got there, Banana. It just took me a little bit to actually get that shared through. Look at that.
Look at that. So we have West Brickell, Brickell Village, Brickell Business, Brickell Key, and Miami Avenue, and also like down there, we also have Brickell Residential District. I don't know what to feel. I'll be honest. I'm impartial to Brickell Village because it's the one building in Brickell at all I was able to snag. I almost got Brickell Key. I'd be rooting for that one if I got
so
there.
You think what's going to hit collection depends on where you purchased?
No.
No,
I wish it did. I wish Upland would just like, hey, whatever you minted is collection. Oh my god, Banana, you got all the collections. But no. I think the top 3 contenders in this area is, I will say, I think it's got to be Brickell Village, Brickell Business District, and then Brickell Key. West Brickell, Miami Ave, and Brickell Residential District, I think they still have a chance, but I think those 3 that are closer to the water, closer to the main downtown area of Brickell, have the best chance. However, they could also ignore Brickell's neighborhoods as a whole and go for Brickell Avenue and Miami Avenue. 2 big areas that Brickell Avenue, big downtown strip of Brickell, and Miami Avenue, which runs through pretty much the entire city. Miami Ave runs from Vizcaya to like I want to say like Miami Shores at least, so like, all the way
Yeah,
up north. So
starts right up here. Yeah, right. Starts right up here.
yeah, because it actually starts lower than that. It starts by Fair Isle because it goes from Bayshore Drive to Miami Ave. I actually bought a Bayshore Drive on accident because I thought it was a Miami Ave. I pulled an oopsie there, but oh well, it's mine now. Yeah, so like when you look at that, I feel like I personally am rooting for Miami Ave because I think it'd be a good collection to run the entire strip of Miami. That way, it's like a nice big collection, but also we have Biscayne Boulevard in the north, so they could go with that instead rather than doing one long collection. But I don't know when we're getting North Miami, so I can't speculate on Biscayne yet. Sadly, sad. But those would be your two. I feel like those are your big streets when you're looking at like Brickell. Like you also have Cali Ultra, which runs through the north part, which I am rooting for because Cali Ultra would be lovely, also known as Southwest 8th Street. Just as a big thing I've seen around people talking, when you look at the Southwest versus Northwest versus Southeast, I'm not too concerned about those because when we look at Upland's history of doing street collections, those modifiers to the street usually aren't significant, where in the sense that it will still be the collection. The only case we've had that change was of East 4th Street, I think, in Cleveland. And now because East 4th Street was like a little venue they had, which was really cute. It was like Bar Street kind of, but the rest of it was a residential neighborhood. But the entire span of Cali Ocho is included in this idea of like it being like the center of Hispanic heritage. Am I getting that right? Hispanic heritage in Miami.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that would be one. That would be the one collection I would love to see.
It would be probably more Latin.
Latin. That would be best
heritage. Yeah, because again, Miami is a good mix, but a lot of Cubano.
I'm also looking at the Upland Cafe chat. Someone said Miami Ave Hood and Bay Heights. Bay Heights, I've looked at. It's just an expensive neighborhood of Coconut Grove. I could see them going for it, but I can also see them not going for it. I put that lower on my tier list. The Miami Avenue neighborhood, I don't know what to feel about, honestly, because it's just such. We've seen time and time again. We've seen multiple times where it's Miami at like let's say the name of a hood is the same as a street. I feel like more times than not, it's usually the street that gets it, not the neighborhood. The one that comes to mind the most is when we went to Dallas. We had Main Street District. Main Street, the street got the collection, but not Main Street District.
Well, you remember the good old days when you would pick, the longest street in the city and be like, poof, there's a limited, or there's a, there's an exclusive. When we had LA, we had a bunch of those.
I mean, that smells like Miami Ave to me. I feel like the actual street Miami Avenue has a chance. I will say they do like. I think this is like more of a little something to me. I've noticed that like sometimes if the street is named after the city, they might go for it.
Yeah.
Is that always the case? No. But I think that has a chance here with Miami Avenue. I don't know how I feel about that neighborhood. I'm gonna be frank. It could go that way. In my heart of hearts, I feel like it's not gonna swing that way. I feel like they're gonna give it to Brickell Ave and Miami Avenue. It's kind of giving me the vibe of the University District or like in Cleveland, where it had like 4 street collections. It was like a really nice area, but it was all like half the streets in the entire neighborhood were the collection, not the neighborhood itself. Like it had like a Little Italy Street. It had like what 3 rares. It had a Carnegie. Had a bunch of stuff in it, but not the neighborhood itself. So I think we're gonna see that with Miami Avenue, unfortunately. Someone mentioned Citrus Grove. As someone who liked the name so much, I spent most of my updates there. I can't be a hater of it. I really like the name. I want to hoard it, so I almost don't want it to be a collection. But then again, if it is a collection, then I'll be happy because that means I'll have collection props. But yeah, Citrus Grove is an interesting one because it's part of Citrus Grove, Orange Bowl, Latin Quarter, East Little Havana, Auburndale, and Little Managua. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. I'm bad. Those are kind of like the areas, less so Auburndale, but the rest of them are kind of like all of like Little Havana. They got to give something there to honor Little Havana.
Latin Quarter.
I have 2 Latin quarters. I also have an East Little Havana. I think they should give that one a collection because East Little Havana is also known as Riverside. And it's more of the more I guess like more commercialized area of Little Havana. I would love to see East Little Havana be recognized. That'd be really cool. But I know some people were turned off because one of the jump off properties in Miami was East Little Havana, and in history times we've seen it where that would make it on collection. However, they have broken that trend with the lovely little advent of what was it? Dallas. It was actually in Dallas again. It was Oaklawn, right?
Yeah, it was one of the star
Oaklawn.
neighborhoods. Yeah, one of the star neighborhoods.
So I can't discount it because they've gone against that rule they've kind of developed.
Well, I mean, they're all secret rules, right? We all assume they're a rule, but it's just correlation, right? Correlation.
Because for example, like I know Upland Bureau bought the 2 biggest properties in London. They happened to be collections. I remember that happening. And people are like, oh, was that
people love that.
People love that one. Yeah. But I don't think I don't think they tell a lot of people what the collections are. That way, like people who make the game, that way they try to tell the least amount of people. So that's where we have that overlap. Like, oh, you buy the biggest property, they end up being collections. That team didn't know to save those for players. Obviously, I don't work for Upland, so I don't know the inside workings, but that would make sense to me at least.
Well, and a couple things on that. I mean, that I like to put out there. And again, you know this, I know this. You talk about sniffing the blockchain and trying to get hints along the way, but the reason you can do that is because Upland actually puts out, and I like to put it out there because people always have that question. They put out the information. They actually put out the collections. The collections are searchable, but they're coded. They're encrypted. Nobody knows what they are, but they know that those evidence is out there of what those collections are. When they turn on, that's when they are associated in layer 1 with with those collections. That's when we see those collections get turned on. So I mean, that key thing there, you talk about sniffing, you've got somebody who's looking at the basics of those collections, the number of properties that might be associated with some of those collections to get some idea of what those areas might be. Or is that something you weren't able to do this time around?
So we aren't able to do that for the past couple of releases because Upland changed the way they encrypt it. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. I was actually the whistleblower on that one. I told the team about the secret that what was going on behind the scenes with us, where we would look at the length of the encryption and try to figure out the neighborhoods.
Essentially count the number of potential properties. Yeah.
No, not it was for the characters, for the neighborhood names. We didn't get. No, it was like to figure out the number of characters in the name of the collection. A lot of groups we've been doing that for a while. However, I was like, it's getting to the point where like that's getting a little cheesy. Yeah. So I reached out to the team like, hey, can we like change that? And then after like a couple months, it stopped being like that, and they're all the same length now. I think that brings back a little bit of fairness to the event because here's the thing. I make my speculation guides. I know like 5 other groups that make their speculation lists and all that, and they work together, and it's really cool. But like that should be the name of the game. Speculate based on what you can research. It shouldn't be let's dig apart the blockchain, which is borderline TOS stuff, and then have a field day with the answers. And I think that brings a more sense of fairness for everyone involved. That way, if you're not part of one of these groups, you're not at a disadvantage because you wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I mean, the reality is Upland has these encrypted. They're supposed to be encrypted. So, they're out there from day one. They don't change them. You make the joke of, hey, wouldn't it be nice if Upland sees what properties I buy and makes those collections? But they are set in stone. It's done, right?
They are set before the property lines come up usually.
So, and then we get the encryption key tomorrow. Essentially just saying, hey, we actually did this. We actually put that information out there. If you want to go back and verify, you can verify that that's been out there from day one.
I also want to talk about a couple of the neighborhoods and streets because I know we did. Here's the thing: South Miami is. I gotta be honest. This was a rough release for a lot of people, and I understand why. South Miami is the more expensive half of Miami, especially when you get towards the water. The water up and down is expensive. You can't go wrong about that. But when you look at South Miami, you have a lot more of the suburbs. So for example, you're right by like Coral Gables, and that's like really like high-end Miami. So you have all that expensive stuff, and your neighborhoods are right next to Coral Gables. They're going to be expensive. So For it being a tier 3, we got hit with some pretty expensive mints because it's just this part of the city is more expensive. Almost 3,000 Upex for Upsquared and South Grove BSI. That was expensive.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it. I'm like, ooh, I can't. My wallet can't. My bad. But there's some other neighborhoods. I know Coral Gate was something I know some people are looking at. Kind of because like Coral Gate is like almost sometimes like a sub neighborhood of Coral Gables. So Coral Gate sometimes gets that name sense that gives it. It's also a small neighborhood, so it would be like an exclusive probably. I think there's about 700-ish properties in it, and there's still a couple that are unminted. I think there's like
Let's take a look.
There's like 5. Upper East,
right here,
West. That one, and then the top corner to the left. There's a couple there. There's a couple. They're chunky. Don't get me wrong. They're expensive. They're like 100.
Look at that price. Yeah, look at that. What a deal! What a deal. Could be yours.
Could be yours. Or you could wait till collection reveal, see if it's actually a collection. This is not.
Yeah, if it's collection, what's going to happen, Banana?
It'll go up by 3 times. So when collection reveal happens, any unminted properties in a collection will go up in price to reflect the fact that it is a collection. Standards do not go up in price because they are standard. They are basic. But limiteds go up by 1.5 times. So if it's a 10,000 mint, it's now going to be 15,000. If it's an exclusive, it's going to go up by 3 times. So if it's a 10,000 mint, it's now 30,000. If it's a rare, it's going to go up by 11 times. So if it's a 10,000 mint, it's 110,000 now. And if it's an ultra rare, if there's an unminted ultra rare, it's going to go up by 21 times. So if it's a 10k mint, it's a 210k mint now. So it's kind of the way of evening the playing field with that one.
But those are real though. Once you get those mint prices, that's also going to affect your dividends.
It's very good yield. Because, or they said it's up to you. If you want to wait, you can wait, but you have to realize now you're fighting for people who want yield. There's probably a couple hundred who want those few properties. So either get the money now and take your gamble, which is a little expensive. I'm not going to lie. That's a bit of an expensive gamble. There's other neighborhoods that you could gamble on for smaller collections, like Silver Bluff. It's something I've heard about because it's a nice little area just north of Coconut Grove. It's a smaller neighborhood, be limited, but like you can still get into Silver Bluff at 15k. And that's pretty palatable for most budgets. I'm going to be honest. It's not the end of the world. Now, I try to speak on collections that I have predicted because I also have my money there. I try not to be like, oh, you should go there, but my money's not there. Haha. I can't be everywhere. But I do try my best to exemplify what I preach because that's kind of lame to be like, oh, you should go there, but I'm not there. My money's somewhere else. Haha. Like, that's not cool to me. So I have some money in Silver Bluff. I am hoping it might hit collection, but I feel like that's one of the more long shot collections we have in this wave. I'll be frank on that one.
You see what I'm seeing right here? Look at those.
Why
you see how many of these Miami townhouses are started?
I know. Nuts. I need to place more down because I kind of want to make Citrus Grove like one of my little like hoarding neighborhoods. Like I have Crown Heights and Princess Bay up in New York. I love my little hoarding neighborhood, so I might make that one another one. I just hope it. I hate that. Oh, I hope it doesn't hit collection because like it would be nice to hit collection, but like that means it gets more expensive and I can't afford it.
What's available there now? 15,520.
For Silver Bluff, or is that for?
No, that's for Citrus.
Citrus, yeah. Citrus Grove, I've heard some speculation on. I'll be honest, I didn't originally speculate on it. But I could see it hitting collection. I could. I'm not gonna lie.
There's that old game of you count the number of properties, or you look at the number of properties in a neighborhood, and you can kind of get an idea. Could it be a limited? Could it be an exclusive? So right here in Latin Quarter, that could be an exclusive.
That's gonna be, if you want, can we go? You want me to go through all the neighborhoods and we say if they'll be rare or whatever?
Hey, you want to do it? We can do it.
I have the time. Is that fine with you? I might feel like I'm hogging your show a little bit.
No, I've got the time. Banana. People love to hear what your thoughts are. You put a lot of work into what you do. You got the picture of your guide in your background. So
I do. That's the Miami guide, guys. Yeah. It wouldn't fit correctly if that's what we got right now, but it would refuse to fit. Let's start with Flagami. Flagami, I think, is truly the only like standard in this wave. I think could have hit. I think I speculated as a standard, but like I feel like you could also look up north for standards. Possible. Lejeune Gardens. I think, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna use a cheat sheet. I know Analytic Assassins put out like a list of everything. So shout out to them because I'm using their list right now because I don't know.
Oh, here we go. We go back to Flagami. There you go. Flagami, you said is going to be potential.
Probably potential, but I'd say easily standard.
If because of the size.
Yeah, and I will say it could hit limited. It's about 6,000 properties.
So that'd be one of the biggest limits in the game if it was 6,000.
It would not be the biggest though. I think the biggest is in Las Vegas. That one's like 9,000.
Yeah, it was huge. But it'd be up there on that list of large limiteds.
Yeah, but you never know. Yeah. Let's see, Lejeune Gardens. That would be a rare. It has about Lejeune has 183 properties. Personally, I wasn't getting the vibe from this one from Lejeune Gardens. I think that one would be a miss. Although it is a good neighborhood if you want to just hold property because it's smaller neighborhoods. Smaller neighborhoods usually have a higher resale value because it's hard to get into, especially for treasure hunting. West Grapeland Heights. I've heard some talk on that one. I personally didn't go for it. There is some unminted if you have an FSA buyer to buy it for you. There's no non-FSA. Let's see. This one's West Grapeland, right? West Grapeland is got 344. It would fall into a rare, be a little bit of a bigger rare, but I think it could be easily a rare, no problem.
But and the note there is obviously if it hits collection, all of these FSAs are gonna get repriced and go back to the market.
Right. So for example, like the one I'm looking at, like 98K, 9.8K, it'd be about like 110,000 upix
if it hits rare. Yeah.
If it would hit rare. I would say for 300ish, odds are rare, but I feel like there's a slight potential for like a 2-prop limited for that one. Auburndale, Citrus Grove, they both would easily be limiteds. They have Auburn has like 2,700, 2,800, and Citrus Grove has 2,600. So about the same size neighborhoods. Personally, I'm leaning more Citrus Grove. I feel like the name's a lot more fun. It's kind of why I have a bunch of props there. I'm like, ooh, Citrus Grove, fruity. That sounds delicious. I would love to have properties there. I have 20. I think I'm like tied for like one of the highest holders there. There's still unminted FSA and non-FSA. So if you want to just hold properties in a fun neighborhood name, go for it. Let's see. We got Orange Bowl and Latin Quarter. Orange Bowl, I remember being, I think, closer to rare. It's like 430. So that one's a lot more cuspy, I'd say. Closer to like on the edge of rare to exclusive. Orange Bowl gets its name from, I believe it's from that, they have a stadium there, right? The
Lone Depot Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Latin Quarter, which I know a lot of people speculate on, including me. That's why I have 2 there. And I think it minted out today. I know there's been some FSA there, but I'm double checking.
In Latin Quarter? Well, I mean, it's been minted out except for FSA.
But there's no FSA right now. There used to be quite a bit of FSA earlier on.
I mean, look at all those. Look at all those townhouses, those Miami-specific townhouses.
Yeah, let's see how many of them actually last.
What do you mean?
Like, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah. The deadline's midnight, right? Tomorrow?
No, it's not a matter of finishing them. It's a matter of
no. I'm talking about like putting them down.
Yeah.
But like, how many people are going to stop building to sell their collection properties? You have to think about that one.
Oh, because you have to pull the ghost off if you want.
You have to pull it off, and then you have to wait, and you have to sell it, and you have to get it to sell fast enough that someone else is going to put the building back on.
But maybe people will ghost them once they get them too. We don't know. We'll have to see.
You never know. But just something, food for thought. Yeah. Personally, Latin Quarter is a bigger thing in my heart. I think that's gonna be good. East Little Havana, that's probably my biggest one I want them to hit so badly. I feel that'd be really good because it gives you the name essence of Little Havana. It really shows off the culture a little bit more than Latin Quarter and stuff like that. Because like while you kind of get the idea of Latin Quarter, Citrus Grove, you really get it with East Little Havana. Because now you really get to the essence of what you're talking about. That's kind of like I almost want to call downtown Little Havana. I do also want to mention a street that runs through all the names we talked about, and that's Flagler Street, my bad. Another commercial corridor, I think it has a good chance of hitting collection. If I had to choose between Flagler and Southwest 8th Street, also known as Caliocho, I would honestly say probably Caliocho a little more, in my opinion. I feel like that has a little more cultural significance, but I feel like Flagler has still a pretty good chance of being a collection.
There's Northwest 8th. There's Flagler, West Flagler.
West Flagler. I know some people have like referred to West Flagler as like a nicer, like not nicer. I don't want to say that, but like a more like commercialized area of Flagler Street, so they have a lot more commercial activity going on as opposed to like when you look at like when you get into West Flagler actually goes in the entire city. I guess when you're referring to outside of Miami proper, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, West Flagler. So like by the old rules, West Flagler is one of the longer streets. It is the longest street east to west. I could, for that reason alone, I could see Upland trying to, push that envelope. But again, they've changed the rules so many times when it comes to collections.
They have changed the rules, but you know what? I've noticed that. You have our baseline. For example, we say for a rare street, no more than 300. But then we have LA, where you have Hollywood Boulevard and Melrose, which are like over 500 each.
Well, how many is on Wilshire? Wilshire's over 300, right?
I think so. I think Franklin's over 300 too.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I know some people say LA is a tier 1 city, so they can kind of do a little more with that. But it also comes down to what's culturally relevant when you make those cities. Sometimes they have a little more favoritism in terms of what they make collections, in my opinion. Yeah. When they know the city a little better, they kind of go with different types of collections to kind of represent it.
And the larger a city is, obviously, it does make sense to have larger collections. Again, they make up a smaller percentage of the overall properties. If you make 25% of the entire city rare, it doesn't seem very rare.
Yeah, it's not rare. What's the point of it being rare?
Yeah.
Little Managua, my bad. Managua. I feel like it's gonna be a good neighborhood for resale, but not for collection. I feel like that's just gonna be a good area people are gonna have expensive resale prices for. Frankly, nothing against the area. I just feel like it's gonna get overshadowed by a lot of other smaller neighborhoods that could hit. Yeah. I believe they're a little expensive. I know some people were talking about that area. What's it at right now? About like 35,000? Yeah.
35 looks like the floor right now, as far as I can tell.
That's a good floor for flipping. Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, about that.
Then we look at the brick elves. We already talked about the brick elves, but just to give you guys an idea of like how many props are in each area. Looking at West Brickell, we have about 239, so that would be a rare. Brickell Village would be 162. Brickell Business District would be 133. Brickell Key would be 26, and Brickell Residential District would be 27. So Brickell Key and Brickell Residential, those would be your ultra rares technically. Also, I forgot about Miami Ave. My bad. We cannot make fun of Miami Ave. They deserve their
even though it's not really a neighborhood, but they want to make it a neighborhood.
Yeah, I know.
So we can make fun of it.
We can't blame Upland. We can blame the real estate agents who called that area Miami Avenue. I can't even blame Upland because I did look it up, and Zillow does have that other region. So,
even though it's only a very small portion of Miami Ave.
I know. It makes me chuckle so hard. But yeah, Miami Ave is also 342. So Brickell Business, Miami Ave, Brickell Village, and West Brickell would all fall under rare.
Yeah.
I feel like just looking at the top part of Brickell, like everything, even West Brickell, like I don't think that would be. I feel like the top three are Brickell Village, Brickell Business, and Brickell Key. But like anything north of that street, Southwest 15 Road, I feel like that's where a lot more of the wealth is for Brickell area. Like, that's really your downtown districts right there. That's really a lot where your nightlife is. That's where those high rises are. If you look at Google Maps, you kind of see a lot more going on up there. Not saying nothing. I mean, that's also you have Brickell Residential District, but I don't know if they're going to give an ultra rare down there for that. I really do think the best case scenario would be Miami Avenue and Brickell Ave, like the two streets getting the collection. I feel like that would like honor the most.
Or one of the two, or I would say one of the two maybe, because they're look at them, they're right there, they're cousins.
Well, to be fair, Miami Ave goes very much up north. It goes through downtown, goes through Wynwood, goes through Little Haiti, goes through all the stuff up there.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it could be a good limited collection. I think that'd be a good make Brickell like a rare easily. I think that would be a fair way to justify that, because I think it's always good to have that one long street collection that goes everywhere, kind of just to give that honor to it. Because like you look at we say Caliocho and Flagler are long, they get cut off pretty. They're not as long as they really could be. Like they're both less than 1,000 props. I think they're closer to 500, I believe. I don't think there's a crazy amount. You know what? Let me instead of speaking, I can check right now. Flagler. All of them. Let's take a gander. Why not? Because you know what? I'm not. I'm how many of them are? How much do you want to guess there are for Flagler?
473.2.
Of course.
I was right, wasn't I? That 0.2 properties. It's just kind of on the corner.
Just set yourself 1 up 2 property.
No, it's on the corner, so it's not really on the street. Yeah. It's just a little bit on the street.
It's looking at it. It's
exactly.
West Flagler Street has 759.
Okay.
So like that's easily like rare. No, sorry, not rare. Exclusive territory. My bad.
Yeah.
8th Street. Let's look at Southwest 8th Street real quick. I think that one's gonna. I feel like maybe a little less because it's missing that chunk from Flagami.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. Let's see. It's 514.
You know.
So like I think they both have a good shot of hitting. I think they both easily hit exclusive. I think street over 1,000 is edging towards limited. If you're under 1,000, I think you're pretty safe in my opinion. But when we look at Miami Avenue, we're talking about a street that extends from practically Vizcaya all the way to Little Haiti and El Portal. Like that's a much bigger distance. I feel like we're looking at it vertically.
Yeah, look at right here. Right there.
And because they said when we get North Miami, which they said we're going to get North Miami at one point or another, you're going to see that collection when it's announced. The future waves, you're going to already know that it's there and it's going to be priced accordingly. So I could see that being a possible theoretically. Very true. Yeah. If it was a collection.
Theoretically.
And yeah, just the groves. I feel like we have to have at least one collection in such an expensive area. That area, I hear it. I can't think not everything can be in a collection. I totally get that.
Make it all a collection. Give me a multiplier on everything.
Boy, all of it is a collection. It's the Miami Standard Collection, my guy.
Wow. Look at that. What a gift.
But like, I feel like they have to give something to Coconut Grove. I don't know what it's going to be. I feel like your top 3 contenders would probably be Grove Center, South Grove Bayside. I think Bay Heights would be your number 3. I don't know. It's a very expensive area. I got into Grove Center. I didn't get into South Grove Bayside. I was not willing to spend the money because it was very pricey and it made me cry because that was my money don't go that far when it's that pricey.
Yeah.
But I feel like they gotta give something over there. Would I love to see 2 collections? Yeah, but like if they give one, I'll be happy that they acknowledge it at least a little bit. I feel like we gotta be something in the middle. I think there's gotta be something in the middle. But of course, that's just me like spreading out collections. I feel like you'd see Coral Gate or Silver Bluff get that collection most likely because you don't really have that many streets that go through there. So I'm like, I feel like those would be your 2 most likely contenders. I know some people I know I talked about this, Southwest 22nd Street, which is also known as, in part of it, Coral Way, which is like a nice little like strip area. You see it in Coral Gate, and I think maybe in parts of Parkdale South. Let's find out. Let's see. Is there anything on the corner that fits that description? No. Okay, so it's just in Coral Gate. I have a feeling that could be a potential collection, maybe a venue. They do the that portion of it. It's also known as Miracle Mile. But I feel it'd be cool to give the entire street the collection as well. But that's just me thinking that. So that is up to what Upland does. I have no idea what they're going to do with that, frankly. I wish they'd do something with it, but that's me wanting a collection in the middle of that area.
Which you have no control over, Banana. Just take a deep breath. Remind yourself, no collection control. No collection control.
No, I have no control over my life.
No control over collections.
No control. But yeah, I gotta say, there was a lot of good speculation areas in this wave. I felt nice because it wasn't like, oh, there's nothing here. It's a lame area. There was a lot to look at. And I think a lot of people underestimate all the things you could look at because you had 2 different mindsets. You had the expensive mansions, high rises, and downtown areas. and then you had the culture, and you had the suburbia. You had like 3 little facets to look at. So you could look at Coral Gate, you could look at Silver Bluff, you could look at Flagami, which are like these little overflow areas that are like nice little houses and a little more expensive. Or you could look at the Latin culture. So you could look at Citrus Grove, you could look at Latin culture, you can look at East Little Havana, you could look at Flagler Street, you could look at Southwest 8th Street, Caliocho. Or you could look at the, I hate calling it gentrification, but the gentrified, expensive, high-end areas. You have the Brickell area. I don't know what neighborhood. I don't know if they're going to give it a neighborhood collection area, but you have Brickell Ave. You got Miami Ave, which runs through there. And you have all the expensive areas like Grove Center and in South Grove Bayside, all that area in Coconut Grove. There's a lot they could pull at. And I think it's really cool to see like a lot of ideas. I just hope they kind of give acknowledgement to all these areas. Although that's me asking a lot. That's asking for a miracle out of Upland to acknowledge everything I think they should acknowledge, because I don't work for Upland.
Well, keep in mind, there's only 14 to 20 collections in the whole city. We're only getting half the city. We know that they front load these collections quite often, where we get the first part of the city and they put 60-70% of those collections in that first part of the city, leaving us with a limited amount of collections left for the rest.
I do know they've been trying to change that up. We've seen that in Tokyo. We've seen that in Dallas. We've seen that quite around now, that they don't front load them entirely, which is really nice.
We saw it in London. London's pretty front loaded.
We did see that. That is true.
Keep in mind, they gave a lot of the areas that were higher speculation. They gave a lot of the areas that were higher pricing. They just did. They started kind of in the center, a little bit of London. And then when you talk about the outlying areas, that's where you start seeing a lot of extra properties. But a lot of those areas aren't the same concentration of culture and history and even the dollar signs. So sometimes we have seen a little bit of carryover from some of the expensive areas hitting collection, high rent districts hitting collection. But part of that is because I think that's where the interest lies, right?
Yeah. But we always have to remember that just because a neighborhood is small doesn't guarantee collection, and just because a neighborhood is expensive doesn't guarantee collection either. I know many people have been burned by that, but do not think that it's small and expensive that's automatically going to be collection.
Well, think about it. We've seen it before. Is when an expensive collection hits or expensive area hits collection. Like if we come down here and we look at some of these 1,200, 1,500 UPX per UP2 properties, we'll see there's a lot of them that aren't minted right now. And you take a look at them and you say, oh my gosh, that's that's 1,000, or this is 800 UPX per UP2 over here in come on, computer, come work with me. Over here in Bird Grove West, I think pricier, right? So we do have some areas to look at that if they hit collection, they're going to end up, being 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 6,000 UPX per UP2 possibly.
For example, just because it's the most expensive area in the area doesn't mean it's going to be collection. We've seen Dogenzaka in Tokyo, most expensive neighborhood we've had in a city release by far. It was like 5,000 up per spread around there, and it hit rare. And good for everyone who bought in on that. I'm happy for them. But we also saw Knightsbridge in Belgravia in London, 4,000 up per up squared, did not hit collection. So you have to be careful where you put your money. If you're willing to put the gamble, then go for it. For example, I put my money in Grove Center. I put about $200K for 2 properties. Will it hit? I hope so. But if it doesn't, I plan on holding Miami, so it won't hurt me to hold there.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing, and I want to point this out, and I'm seeing it all over the map. If you are or you're not, is these expensive areas, they're all heavily unminted, and I think the people as a whole are sensitive to the UPX per UP2. You come back and you look at some of these areas that are the low UPX per UP2. They weren't minted immediately because they weren't the high speculation areas. We see that there's still a lot of room here, but if you want a place in Miami and you don't hit collection, you don't have 6 million UPX in the bank. I mean, the UPX goes a lot further in these areas that are lower UPX per UP2. All depends on what you're looking at doing once that collection reveal happens.
Because when you look at it, a lot of these expensive neighborhoods are unminted or they're overly minted by a single player, Abdullah. Nothing against him. Go off with your money, my guy. But think about it. He has 2 neighborhoods mostly to himself. He has Bay Heights and Bird Grove West mostly to himself.
But look at
And,
this. Look at that, Banana. Look at that.
Are you screen sharing right now? It's not showing.
Oh my gosh. Maybe that's why you're not seeing what I'm looking at.
Maybe we're not.
Well, maybe not. But yeah, I mean, but I was looking at these more expensive areas. I mean, you're looking at 1,500 UPX per UP2. Here we go. This will make a lot more sense. And we see these areas largely unminted. Look at this. We get over here and we're taking a look at South Grove, and over in South Grove, there's block after block of unminted, and it could be yours for the very low price of 1,400 UPX per UP2.
And you know what? At that price, I'd rather just buy a collection property that's unminted. So we have Pacific Palisades that's still unminted. Yeah. I can just run there. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. The unminted property, again, halfway across the map, that's already unminted. I mean, do you think they overstrip a little bit of the hype here when they set the certain areas that high? Again, we know the idea of earnings and people holding properties for earnings, but I mean, look at what we're looking at. Look at the percentage of those properties that are currently minted.
Unfortunately, when I see these areas, I just think of areas that people are going to put their money in to sell for USD. I don't see long-term holding here unless you're buying it under mint. And that's the really hard part about these expensive neighborhoods. You don't see that. You see either bartering chips or you see property that are just used to get money out. And that's not what Upland really wants. I don't know why they try and push them for that in such a big area. Yeah, the thing about a quarter of this release was very expensive. Like Brickell, it was expensive, but you're like, oh, okay, well, it's Brickell, it's downtown, nothing crazy. Okay, under 1,000. You wouldn't expect it to go higher than that, under 1,000. Then we look at the Grove area, and you're like, oh, whoa, that's a lot of money right there.
I mean, it's outside of Coral Gables. We know what I think a lot of us know what Coral Gables is. So there's some pricey real estate down that way for sure.
Right.
But yeah, expensive area, the shopping district down there, but expensive area all the same. And but look at that. Look at Bird Grove West. You said this is all Abdullah? My boy. Another one of these neighborhoods that's all heavily built out here. Look at that. That's going to be something that we're going to see taking a long time to actually get minted out, or get those finished.
Yeah, well, he would definitely go for it.
Yeah,
I think he would definitely do that.
Look at that all minted. That's going to be quite a neighborhood once it's all built out. Yeah. Once those are all finished. Yeah, you can tell the ones that are Abdullah's and the ones that aren't.
Because the ones that aren't his are on sale.
Well, the ones that aren't his
are smaller.
No, look. They don't have the structures on them. Look at no structure.
That's funny.
I think he ghosted all of his. Those are all ghosted up. Pretty funny.
It might as well, because then he can go back to it when he wants to. He has the time. He has the money. Yeah. He has he has the spark.
Sure.
He can take his time.
What else do you have? Anything else you're thinking about looking at as far as looking at for tomorrow? I mean, I always like to go over a couple things when it comes to minting itself, or collection reveal. Obviously, be ready. Have your
stuff off market. Take that stuff down.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna list it for millions of UPX, list it for millions of UPX and see if someone buys it. It's ultra rare. That's one thing. Go for it if you really want to, but don't be listing as if it's a non-collection prop. List it as if it's an ultra rare. If you really want it to be, you know what? List it high and mighty, because you know what? If you get a sale because someone says, "Oh, that's a good property, I want it," then you get your sale and you don't feel bad because now you can buy another one.
Well, you also see the prices bounce too. There's the FOMO, there's the bounce. You can sometimes see people pay more for a property or for properties in a certain neighborhood minutes after collection reveal than you do a week after collection reveal.
I remember when we had Berlin, I know under the Linden, I minted mine for $30K and I instantly sold it for $800K, and then someone sold it for 1.2 million K. Yeah. So they got a lot of money out of it. But then now the floor for that collection is 500K. You got an hour window to pretty much milk the money out of your properties unless you want to hold them for a while. Because once the next wave or next city comes out, Miami's first on the chopping block. Is the latest city, first to go under.
Well, except for one thing, if that is you're really going to take utility out of a property, and you're going to have it long term, and you've got a property that you're going to put a factory on.
There's not many properties to do that well. I'll be honest. That's not
there,
that
there
you're
are.
talking. You're preaching to the choir now.
Look
You
at
have
look at this. Oh yeah,
you're one of like 50 people who are able to
look at
grab
that.
a big
Oh,
enough
right
property
there.
to afford
That's a
it.
medium factory right there, banana.
That's not a
Right
medium
there.
factory. That's
No, this one right here. This is a medium factory.
is it?
It's ready for a medium factory. 707 UP2. It's ready for a factory.
I'm always jealous because I have like a 1200. I can't fit a medium because it's slightly too skinny, and it breaks my heart every time I look at it.
Yeah, it's gonna fit a medium right here, and there's gonna be even lot space right here. Look at that. It's gonna be gorgeous.
Yeah. Like I said, personally, if I was looking for one, I would look to North Miami. You're gonna have a lot. I feel you're gonna have even cheaper stuff in North Miami. Because you look at like Alapata, you're looking at all the stuff up there. You're looking at Liberty City, you're looking at Little Haiti. You'll see a little cheaper up there. I feel like so if you couldn't get your hands on a big meaty property for a factory, just wait till Miami too. If you want it in Miami, I feel like that would be your.
We'll see. We'll see. But I mean, the 200 UPX per UP2 wasn't too bad in a couple of these areas over here.
It definitely wasn't. But there were times like, would you want it to be? Because I feel like you definitely go cheaper. In my opinion, I feel like we might see a little cheaper than that.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the city comes out, and I do think there's reason to believe there will be in northern Miami there'll be lower prices.
Yeah, you have to think about it. There's all the expensive suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you have like your cheaper stuff inland, but then you have Coral Gables, which makes it expensive. You have the waterfront that makes it expensive.
Oh yeah.
So everything. So when you look at everything south of Dixie Highway, expensive. Everything nearby to Coral Gables, expensive. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 21 neighborhoods that are already expensive out the door, easily over like expensive. Like, ooh, that's a lot of money. That leaves you with the central stuff. So that leaves you with Lagami, West Creekland Heights, Auburndale, Citrus Grove, Little Managua, East Little Havana, Shenandoah North and South, Silver Bluff, Latin Quarter, Orange Quarter. Parkdale.
Whatever. Look them all.
Yeah, even like even like Parkdale, North and South wasn't too bad, which is nice. Although I will say Parkdale South was more expensive than North. I think it was about double the price. I noticed. Now that also correlates the fact that it's close, a little closer to like Douglas Park, which they had, which is also like almost like a part of Coral Gables. And then you have roads, which is kind of like the overflow of Brickell, so that's already off the table because that's expensive. Like 40.
Oh yeah, it's all OpEx. I mean, it all could be yours if the price is right. But yeah, I mean, we anything by the coast here in Miami is going to be expensive, and it was for sure. Some of these upscale neighborhoods priced accordingly, right? And not too surprised to see it happen, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm not too surprised. They are expensive areas in real life. I'm not going to say, oh, it's meant to be cheap. No, they're expensive areas. They were expensive. They were expensive areas.
Yeah. So it happens. And I mean, again, it's the coolest thing is that over here in Brickell Key. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Wouldn't that be nice if they did an ultra neighborhood? That'd be funny.
I will say that was one speculation I had. I thought they were going to give Brickell Key the neighborhood collection. But we'll see tomorrow. Maybe they do it.
It would be the first ultra rare neighborhood, right? It'd be pretty cool.
No, it would not. Kansas City has the first one.
Which?
No, hold on. Let me put that. I know because they haven't sold it yet. I remember.
Oh no! Yes, correct. But it hasn't been released. It exists, but it
Country
hasn't
Club Plaza. So that was that's technically the first one, but this would be the first one
that's mintable.
Yeah, that was mintable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows if that's ever. So yeah, they set those out for future release. It's almost 2 years on in Kansas City, and they haven't released them yet. Who knows when that's going to happen, how that's going to happen, what they're going to do with that.
We'll find out eventually.
Eventually, yeah. As long as we keep patient, we'll eventually find out.
Absolutely.
All right.
But that's my take on Miami, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of collection possibility here. If it was a good release for speculation, where it wasn't like, oh, there's only one area that's really good. You had a lot of different areas that were really good. And I think that's really good for a city release to keep it interesting. Because then you can have different strategies. You can have people going for... You have Coconut Grove, go for expensive stuff. You have people going for Brickell, the gentrified downtown. You can go for the culture. You can go for Latin areas, the Latin Quarter and Little Managua. And you can go for Isla Havana and Orange Bowl and go for Calle Ocho, or and go for the suburb stuff. They have Coral Gate, and you have Flagami, and you have Flagler Street. Like you have in Silver Bluff, you have different areas you could have gone, and I think that's really nice when you can split people up like that, because then there's a little less fighting. Like yeah, you're fighting against a smaller crowd of people, which is really nice.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT, not to be forgotten. Again, 9 a.m. PT tomorrow, collection reveal. Keep in mind, again, as Banana says, make sure you have your properties off the market if they're on the market now. A couple other hints, tips on there. Make sure that you are ready to go, that you do have your authentication. That second of, again, there's a big race. As soon as people know what is collection, what is not minted, they get there. They try to get those minted. If you're looking at scooping the floor, it is a fast race. So if you want to potentially scoop a property that somebody didn't follow Banana's advice and didn't take it off the market and left it on the floor of the city and found out or didn't find out it was a rare until it got scooped from them off the floor of the city, make sure you are there at 9 a.m. PT, because it will be fast. It'll happen fast. It'll happen quick.
Very fast.
Very fast. So be there if you want to be there. Otherwise, you'll just be hearing about it tomorrow night on the Cafe Nightly Show.
Sounds good to me. I might be able to come to the nightly show tomorrow. They're like, "Hey, this is what happened. This is what
you want to cry about it or celebrate."
I'll be spilling all of the beer and all my tears.
All the beers and tears. Absolutely. We'll see if you're available tomorrow. Banana would love to do it. For tonight, we got a couple other pieces of news to run on. You want to hang out and do that, or you want to?
Actually am going to pop out for the night.
Okay. Absolutely.
So I'll see you guys around. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely,
my little Goldie boy.
Enjoy yourself and good luck tomorrow.
I hope everyone has a good night. Good night, guys.
Take care. All right. Want to get into the couple of the other pieces of news here. Thank you so much, Banana. Thank you for your time. And again, looking forward to tomorrow, of course. A lot of Miami left to mint. We'll see if collections influence what gets minted tomorrow. 9 a.m. PT is the time to be there and be ready. Getting into a couple of the things that really kind of blow things out of the water here. A little bit of a surprise when it comes to what's going on in the city of Upland, or the game of Upland, what we got going on to balance what we're able to do, or what we are going to see happen here in the future. One thing that's been a big thing on the MetaVenture front is this whole idea of ornaments. With our structure ornaments, they were great. People loved them. They are only able to have them up for a very limited period of time, and obviously that's changed. That changed as of today. Upland's ornament overhaul. Deck the halls or deck the blocks with a year-round cheer. Here again, this is something that is a big departure from what Upland had previously said. They had previously done. They wanted ornaments to be seasonal, but what ultimately happened very much with the ornaments is, by the time they did seasonal ornaments, by the time they turned them into a MetaVenture as a UGC content, the use case of them for 3 weeks a year, 4 weeks a year is pretty limited. It is something that they become boxes for the rest of the year, and ultimately, I know some people think of it as, in the real world, are there circumstances, are there cases where people have certain direct decorations up all year round? They can be, but also this is a metaverse, and I think people want to be able to have a Christmas town, or want to be able to have a Halloweenville like Creedmoor, or want to be able to do something a little different with the way they decorate their properties. And again, it's a way of customizing properties that people have already chose to build a structure on. Not having a structure on the property is something that prevents you from being able to decorate it. If you put a structure on the property, you buy the right ornament, you go to the right UGC ornament shop, you can get something that is going to typify you and the things that you celebrate, even if the things you celebrate are only around for a short period of time. You can now have them up year round. Again, this is an important update. This is something that the team of Upland has kind of been holding on to for a little while, as far as keeping us in the suspense of not knowing what's going on here. I think that it's something they've known for a little bit, because I think that might be something to do with why they have been building a bunch of structural ornaments here that we will likely see hit the market here in not too long. Let's take a look at the announcement here. Obviously, all year round, Upland, listen to comments. This is something that, not a joke, was on the ClickUp forum for quite a while. People had gone and made this comment again and again and again about wanting to get the structure ornaments up year round. About why is the from the UGC Metaventurist, why is it that I can only sell these and have these in place for a month a year? I can keep selling them, but people can't use them. It's hard to see those markets flourish. And again, you see these people buy them for a short period of time. They don't want to hold on to them for a year, and that kind of tanks the value of them as well. So this is going to change things quite a bit. No more waiting for a special occasion to access your favorite decorations. They're now at your fingertips anytime. So very, very key here. I think we're going to see the way people interact with ornaments change. I think potentially the reasoning, the use case of having a structure is going to be fortified here. Is going to be strengthened by having the ability to ornament or decorate your property whenever you want to. But they are still keeping the seasons as seasons and reasons to have them, reasons to follow the seasons. And here it is. Seasonal swag equals bonus. Here's the kicker. Adorn your homes with the appropriate season ornaments, so seasons will continue in the game of Upland, and you will see a stream of bonuses and prizes coming your way. It's more than just aesthetic appeal. It's you earning a tangible reward. Winter Wonderland Seasons Magical Offer. We're currently celebrating the Wonderland season. Again, it does start and run up until the holiday period. It did start in the early part of December. And here's a fantastic chance to get involved. For every building you adorn with a Wonderland season ornament, with a Wonderland season ornament, that's the Christmas ornaments from a couple years ago. That's Christmas ornaments from last year. That's all the UGC that are tied to the Winter Wonderland season, the Wonderland seasons. You earn one entry into a special drawing for a Winter Block Explorer. A total of 225 winners will be chosen. Here are the Block Explorers, and this is something we talked about Upland doing a lot better job of, and that is making Block Explorers smaller sample sizes, putting Block Explorers in a position where they can be rare, they can be special, and that is by giving 3 total Block Explorers randomly selected for the 225 winners. 75 of the Jolly Jingle Bearer right here. There'll be 75 of the Gift Wrap Giggle Snow right here, and then there'll be 75 of the Giddy Glide Gift right there as the options, as the potential options. And that snowman makes an appearance in all 3. Look at that. But that's not all. From these 25 winners, we will also select 3 additional winners, or 3 winners of the 2025, to also win a Miami property launchpad property. Again, we had those Miami launchpad properties. Those were the properties that Upland had to make minted, or had to mint, so that the players could send to those properties and set those drifts. Since those properties are, again, owned by Upland, that ultimately should be in the hands of the community, they're going back to the community. 329 Southwest 6th Avenue in Miami, 5301 Northwest 7th Avenue or 7th Street, and 3130 Jackson Ave. All going to be prizes. All going to be prizes in the Wonderland Seasons Magical Offer or contest. Every ornament counts as a new opportunity to win, so start decorating. Please be aware, for this contest, each player is eligible to win only one of those 3 Block Explorers. Easy enough. Sounds good to me. Mark your calendars. The snapshot is going to take place on December 31st between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Obviously, that's the only time it's going to matter if you're decorated with Wonderland ornaments. However, let's get them up. It's a holiday season. It is fun to celebrate. It's fun to see neighborhoods that are all decorated in a certain way. Get all the ornaments you can get up. I haven't taken the time to put my 25 plus, I think I'm over 25 now, holiday ornaments or Wonderland season ornaments up. I will do so probably tonight or tomorrow. It's a great time to do it. Leave them up through the month. And of course, it is going to be your opportunity to potentially win a Block Explorer and potentially a property. Missed out on Wonderland ornaments? Don't worry. If you do not currently have Wonderland ornaments, next week we'll be revealing the new collection of Wonderland ornaments from Upland. Again, quick note there. As I said, we've seen these being made, being produced. They look very interesting because they're all themed this year in gingerbread. So it's a different theme than we've seen in the past. It's an opportunity to get a lot of gingerbreads up in the game of Upland. available for purchase in a special bundle. Keep your eyes out for this exciting release. The other thing that we saw Gingerbread is the cards. This is Gingerbread cards. So those might be making their way into those bundles as well. You also have the opportunity to buy previously Wonderland ornaments from any of the following player-operated shops. There's not, well, I was going to say there's not that many, but there are a number. Ornament shops, keep in mind, look at this. Bakersfield, Bronx, Chicago, Dallas, Fresno, Kansas City. Go right down the list. If you are somewhere in the game of Upland, you may not have a shop that's that far from you for ornament shops. You can always go in the game of Upland and search for Meta Ventures under the looking at the shops and the Meta Ventures under the shops tab. You can sort by type of shop. You can sort by city, and you can find the city where you want to be. You can find the type of Meta Venture you want to have, and then you can navigate there and see what they have in stock. And of course, this is a great opportunity for Upland to highlight meta ventures that already exist. These are ultimately retail shops. They can be, set up with, or the same owners could also have a manufacturing, could also have a factory building their own structure ornaments that are going to be their own original design. But those could also be sold at these resale shops as well as previous years Upland created ornaments. Take a look if you don't have a lot of ornaments now. If you haven't been in the game for 10 years, nobody has. But if you haven't been in the game for 3, you haven't been in the game for a couple winter seasons, you may not have those structure ornaments. You have the opportunity to purchase them on the secondary, of course. And I'm glad that Upland took the time to put all of those here in the announcement, so people know to where to go and that they can go to a player-owned shop to pick up some ornaments. A couple key things, that are in there. Of course, is this is a pretty large change. This means that if you don't own ornaments because you don't like the idea of that you can only have them up for a month a year, maybe purchase more. If you have ornaments and they're just ugly boxes of your properties, maybe you can actually decorate with them throughout the entire year instead of leaving just an ugly box in the backyard with no purpose of it being on there. So we'll see how this changes the game of Upland. It's going to change the appearance of Upland for sure, because people are going to leave their Christmas ornaments up into January, February, March, and they're going to forget to take them down. Or we're going to see certain areas that are going to be on top of it, and they're going to decorate the way they want to. We're going to see Creedmoor decorate in Halloween ornaments. We're going to see other neighborhoods that want to celebrate one season or another that are going to decorate in a certain way. We're going to see Sunburnt season again. This was a season that was primarily all made by UGC ornaments, and we're going to see some places in Miami likely get decorated in Sunburnt season because it's Miami. There's a lot of sun. Celebrate the sun down there. LA might be the same way. See some neighborhoods down there get the sunburnt stuff up. This is a cool way for neighborhoods, especially areas with strong node activity, to differentiate themselves and to potentially influence the aesthetics of their neighborhood. So looking forward to seeing that develop and seeing that overall influence the game of Upland. And maybe, just maybe, all those ornaments I have and I've been holding on to might have a reason for existing, or a stronger reason for existing, stronger use case anyway. So looking forward to seeing that continue to evolve. A couple things that are also pretty important here. Heads up on the collection reveal tomorrow. We know that's the case. We've been waiting for it. We've been keeping our eyes out and looking to see it happen. And yes, it is happening tomorrow. Of course, the other piece of note here that we continue to look at is our totem sale. Totem sale did happen today, 9 a.m. PT, and interesting thing happened to me. First time in a very long time, I was able to get lucky, get a good line up, a good position in line, and for the first time in all the totem sales, I had the opportunity to buy a totem pass at Mint in Optics, and I took it. And I now have that totem pass for Chapter 5. I was also just barely able to buy in USD. This was a little bit of a departure from previous purchase opportunities, because I was 1800 in line. I just barely purchased. Shortly after I purchased, they all sold out. The last remnant sold out, meaning there probably were people who were in that line who did not get the opportunity to buy in USD. In previous iterations, they did work their way around more than once in many cases, at least for some people in the line. I don't think we got there. I think that this sold out, and people can correct me if they bought a second one, but it looks like things sold out on the first go around, the first opportunity, the first chance on USD. So that is a little bit of a change. That is a little bit exciting, and that does kind of tell us that people woke up, that this is chapter 5. This is the end of things. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is a little bit smaller. If we look at the circulations here, we looked at what was in chapter 5 with 840 and 860 or something of that nature, total of each of these passes, or each of these designs, the cheetah and the gorilla, out of those passes. So a total of 1,600 of the passes. 1,600 passes overall. In previous iterations, in this one, we got a total of 800 passes, 400 and change from the USD, 400 and change from the UPX side, giving us about 800 total of these, giving us 400 of each design, 400 cheetahs and 400 gorillas. So kind of exciting to see that this time around, with the reality that is going to be the future of the game of Upland, at least for the next several months. Once these get turned on, once we see that protem drop, and that's where we are right now. We're in the waiting period. We have not had exchanges on the Chapter 5. Chapter 5 sold out very quickly, but we haven't had exchange on the Chapter 5 passes yet. But I think that when we get that announcement about the exchange for passes, get the actual totem for your pass, we could be getting more information about what's coming next. Ultimately, we're heading into the end of the year. This is the end of Q4. We know that the holiday season gets very short and very compressed because there's not as many work days at offices. There's not as many work days at Upland, but we could be surprised. So we're heading into the end of the year. We're looking forward to the start of life, or the precursor to life, in protem and totem exchange, the protem and totem cycle. But for now, we're just in a waiting pattern, seeing what's going to happen there. And there's a lot to see there. Reminder, as we said last night, you got a couple days left to get your mini game entry. And if you haven't got it in yet, again, you're probably too close to start one, but you may have enough time if you've been 3/4 there, just waiting for one or two things to submit. Hit the submit, get this done. Good luck to you. Looking forward to seeing all these mini games coming into the game of Upland. One note I do want to put out there, officially announced yesterday, Tuesdays and Fridays here in the Plaza, doing the Cafe Nightly show, trying to get more interviews in here, as we do have a visual opportunity, as I do have a much better control. Look at this. I can wave my mouse around here, as we do have much better control over what we can do in the Plaza, getting video out, sharing screens, sharing announcements, looking at different things that are happening in the game of Upland. So looking forward to doing that a little more on Tuesdays and Fridays here in the Plaza. And what we are also looking at doing is kind of drop a little bit spoiler here, working on getting things ready for the holidays, do something special here for in the Plaza. So we'll look forward for details for that. I'll get them out as soon as we have them. But of course, looking forward to having fun, have some prizes, have some special guests, and of course, just work with the other broadcasters to put together a little bit of fun and merriment at a time of year that a lot of people enjoy. Enjoy just being with friends, family, and having a little bit of fun. So looking forward to doing that with all of you and anybody who can make it. For tonight, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for being in the Cafe Nightly show. Looking forward to what's going to happen next in terms of our totems, what we're going to find out there. But of course, we're just going to head into a very big, very exciting day tomorrow for our collection reveal in the city of Miami. Again, thank you everyone for being here. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday. If you're in the Discord and you want to drop by Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PT, we're there as well. Thank you much. Hope to see you all 7 p.m. this coming Friday with the one and only Uplando, talking about an expansion of Laplandia. Good luck. Thank you. And have a great day in the city reveal tomorrow.